I've worked with hundreds of women with mast cell activation syndrome and histamine intolerance whose histamine symptoms felt completely random. The ones who'd swear they ate something one week with no problem, then reacted to the exact same food the next. Every single time the same thing was going on, and it was almost never about the last meal you ate. I'm Luann Hopkinson, a clinical nutritionist and neuroplasticity coach, and I've had my own experience with histamine intolerance and MCAS too. So let me explain the histamine bucket in a simple way, because once you understand the bucket, your symptoms start to feel a lot less random. Your body has a capacity for histamine. Think of it like a bucket. Different things add to that bucket over the course of the day or week. Food is one of them, yes, but so is stress, poor sleep, hormone fluctuations, constipation, environmental triggers like pollen, infections, overexercise, and the nervous system. So symptoms aren't always about one main trigger. They're often about a lot of smaller things that are accumulating, and when the bucket overflows, the symptoms appear. This is why people say, "But I ate that last week and I was fine." Yes, because the bucket was probably a bit lower last week. Maybe you were sleeping better, you were less stressed, maybe you were in a different part of your cycle. Maybe your bowels had been moving really well and there was less of a build-up. Then this week, the same food tips you over the edge because the bucket is already fuller from everything else. The food didn't change, but your capacity changed. This is also why blaming the last thing we ate can lead us in circles. If you react and then immediately remove the food you just ate, you might be removing something that was never a problem in the first place. If the bucket was already almost full because of everything else before you even ate, the problem wasn't even that food. It was the accumulated load from the days before. And if you want a simple, low histamine system that takes all the guesswork out of what to eat, my Kickstart program is exactly that. I'll pop the link in the description. So the bucket includes non-food things, and I think this is where a lot of people underestimate. For a lot of women, perimenopause, and then chronic stress, disrupted sleep, exposure to pollen, overdoing exercise, and feeling constantly on edge are filling the bucket significantly. And then diet changes, even when they're well managed, can't compensate for all of that. So what do you do with this? You stop trying to chase perfection around one single food and you start asking, what's filling my bucket overall? That might mean simplifying food choices, and it might mean improving freshness and storage, but it also might mean working on sleep, reducing overwhelm, supporting nervous system regulation, improving bowel transit time, or paying attention to your hormonal patterns. None of these things are as immediately satisfying as chasing down a single trigger and eliminating it, but they're actually what changes the baseline and increases your capacity. So then you've got more room in the bucket, and that means you can tolerate more before it overflows. So if your symptoms have felt random or inconsistent, I really hope this makes things feel a bit less chaotic. Your body is not completely wrecked. There is much more contributing to your symptoms than one single food. And the more you're able to understand and see your whole bucket, then you can actually start working on it. So, if you want to understand the full picture of what's actually driving your reactivity and what I would recommend doing about it, you can check out my free masterclass, the 5-step plan to healing histamine. It covers everything that I do with my clients to help them heal. So the link is in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.